Welcome to another episode of Curtain Call Conversations. I am very excited. This is my first ever in-person interview.
What?
And it's with no other than Jerry Mitchell.
Emma.
I mean, legend.
Oh, well, I don't know about that.
Broadway choreographer to some of the biggest and the best shows. And you're coming to Birmingham REP,
Yes.
which is where we are now, with Becoming Nancy,
Yes.
a new musical.
Yes.
I mean, the story behind why you wanted to make this a musical is brilliant. Like, you read the book on a flight. Tell me why, when you reached your destination, you thought, this is it for me.
The book resonated with me in many ways. Most importantly, it's told in 1979. The lead of the story, David Starr, and the boy he falls in love with, Maxie Boswell. I'm one part David Starr and I'm one part Maxie Boswell. I grew up listening to a lot of pop music at the time. He listens to Sting, Debbie Harry, Kate Bush.
Classics.
I played all the sports like Maxie. I did all the theater like David. It just had and I struggled with finding myself and how to tell everyone that I was a gay man and be strong about that as a young person. So that coupled with the fact that his best friend is a young black girl, Frances Bassey, who's struggling with being bullied because she's black, which I think is resonating in America, certainly. I don't know about here, but I think it is resonating in America again. And it's in Rock Against Racism was a real thing that happened. And she's trying in the riots at Brockwell Park, and all of that information just seemed like it had a lot to do with what was going on in the world right now, and I wanted to have a chance to tell that story. Okay,
so you sort of like this. You read this book back in, was it 2013? So
it was a while ago. I was doing Kinky Boots in the UK, and I had seen all the movies and finished all my books, and I didn't have anything to read. I ran to Waterstones because Kylie Minogue had given it a rave review in like the Gay Times. Bought the last copy, read it on the plane. By the time the plane landed, I said, I have to turn this into a musical. And Terry, who wrote the book, Terry Ronald, actually, I reached out through my lawyers, as you do when you're trying to get the rights to something. It took about a year. And Terry was in negotiations with, I think, some film companies possibly. But what happened was when he heard I wanted to do it, he was such a fan of Legally Blonde with Sheridan Smith that he said, I want Jerry to turn this into a musical. We just hit it off, and it's been great.
So, I mean, people obviously don't realize how long it takes to stage a musical. I mean, it takes years.
You come into the theater and hopefully that's great. You see the show and you think that just happened, but you don't realize the people behind the scenes who've been working on this, they've been trying it and writing and rewriting and trying to get it exactly right so it can have the biggest impact on the widest audience possible. That's what theater's all about.
It's very exciting. I mean, Birmingham REP. Why Birmingham? I mean, our fair city, it is wonderful for theatre. We have a lot of choice.
I'd heard a lot of great things from other people and friends in America who had been trying out musicals here. I grew up in the REP theater, theater cycle in America. Jack O'Brien, one of my first collaborators, is the director of Hairspray, and I choreographed it. We did Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. We did the musical version of The Full Monty together. Those all started at the Old Globe Theater, which is a REP company in San Diego. So I'm used to that experience where you go and you create with everyone there. And it's a wonderful way to get the job done.
Well, it's really collaborative, isn't it?
Yeah, very collaborative.
Everybody's really excited.
And musicals are about collaboration.
Yes, absolutely.
First and foremost.
I mean, from a choreography point of view, when you start, I mean, I'm just so interested.
The music.
Always
the music. I listen to the music over and over and over. Usually I talk to the composers and they'll do the songs on a demo for me. And I can listen to it on my whatever device I'm listening it to, and I play it over and over, and I start to form images in my head, how I want to tell the story, how I see the characters moving with the music, and trying to always lift the lyrics up so the audience understands the story that's in the lyric. And then if there's time for a dance break or there's need for a dance break to move the story forward, throwing that in and what is that about? I mean, do you sort of storyboard it in a way, or do you? I do notes. I do a lot of notes. I collect images. I used to collect them all and cut them out and put them in a book. Now I just put them on my computer. But I have files and files of images of things for this from high school productions of Oliver. Because the kids do eventually do a production of Oliver, but you never really see it or hear the music from Oliver. It's all done sort of in the background.
Yeah.
That's not the story. The story is something else.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's so exciting to have a brand new musical anyway, because I think it's necessary. But obviously you've been at the helm, choreography-wise, of some massive musicals. What's it like opening a show on Broadway such as Kinky Boots? I mean, what's the feeling like for you to see everybody up there doing your work?
Well, Kinky Boots was a great experience, and obviously it was extremely successful both in the US and here in the UK. Pretty Woman, which is now touring here, and I just saw it in Liverpool, and it was sensational. And I know it was here and did so well. It's coming back.
It did,
I think for me, I always try to bring joy and hope to my work, and seeing the audiences leave with that is really the most rewarding thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful musical. I was listening to Land of Lola on the way in because I think that's one of my favourite songs.
It's a great song
from the show,
and a perfect example of a song that the first song Cindy wrote didn't work. The second song she didn't work. Land of Lola was the third entrance song she wrote for the character Lola, but I kept asking her to try again. This is good, but I think we haven't quite nailed it. And then she hit it with Land of Lola.
Yeah. I mean, what's the audition process like for the dancers that you work with? Are you sort of instrumental? You must be like instrumental with it.
I was a dancer.
Yes.
So when I go into the room, I want those dancers to feel valued. And I try to include them in the joy that I'm trying to produce and create, and let them know that if this doesn't work out, it isn't particularly because someone in the room is better than them. It's that the shoe doesn't fit, right? And that's very hard for performers to understand that. It's not, I got rejected from tons of auditions, but I did get a lot also. So it's about finding the right thing for you to do, right? And that's when a show really flies. So I like to have fun. I like to have a good time.
You can tell from the shows that you've worked with. And when did you sort of take the leap from being a dancer yourself into the choreography side?
I stopped dancing when I was 23. And one of the first jobs I had as an associate choreographer was with Bob Avian here in the UK on Sir Cameron Mackintosh's production of Follies, starring Diana Rigg and Julia McKenzie.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was one of the first jobs as an associate choreographer. And I learned that I could do my job here as well as in the States. So I've been coming back and forth to the UK since 1986.
Wow, that's brilliant.
It's a long time.
It is a long time, And what do you feel about the differences between audiences?
I don't feel there's any difference.
You don't?
I really don't.
That's interesting.
I don't. If it's funny here, it's funny there. I think Cameron actually said this, Cameron Mackintosh, but when I go to a musical, I leave with the music. So it's always to me about the music. The music has to stay with me. I want to take the music home with me. And so when I'm working on a musical and I'm collaborating with my team, I'm asking them to write songs that I can sing for 50 years, not just for tonight.
Well, exactly. They have to be memorable. And
I mean, look at the revival of Guys and Dolls. I went to see it, right? And I was sitting in a seat, but I was looking at the people on the floor when the song Guys and Dolls came up, and a lot of young people, and I just see the heads start to bop, and I thought, that song was written 70 years ago, and people are still bopping to Frank Lesser's song.
It's quite mad, isn't it? Really?
It's quite mad.
Quite mad, but brilliant. I mean, those sorts of shows.
But that's what it's about.
I mean, they're just classic shows, and as much as the classics are brilliant, the new stuff is, can be even better, and they could be years down the line. Classics, couldn't they? So how far are you along with becoming Nancy in the process?
We're pretty good. I was working with no, we're not cast yet. But I was working with the team, and we just did a reading of the new draft and the new songs, and we're raring to go. It's exciting. I mean, obviously you'll be here in Birmingham for opening night, press night. I'll be here for a while. So when the first show is sort of in front of an audience, is there a moment where you think that's got to come out? I've got to change that. That's the whole reason you're in front of an audience. Is to find out. If you listen to the audience, they'll tell you what they like, where they're confused, what they find funny, what they find meaningful, and where they're bored. And so you want to get the bored things out right away. Exactly. Right? And you want to keep them leaning into the story. Right? that's really what, and I am a stickler for telling it with a good pace. I cannot, my bladder won't stand a long first act.
No, well, exactly. We all need that. We all need that, absolutely. So I had some questions from some of my team.
Oh, wow.
They wanted to get in on it.
All right.
So my lovely reviewer, Lee, wants to know, when will we be getting a Legally Blonde musical movie?
I don't know, but I think you need to talk to Hal Luptig and Kristen Cassidy and Mike Isaacson, who are the American producers working with the rep here. They were the original producers of the Broadway production, along with Dori Berinstein, and the Sheridan Smith version here in the UK, with Playful, who are also working on this. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's do it.
When do I finish here?
Yes.
Then I got to do a little thing called Devil Wears Prada in the West End. But as soon as I'm done, then I got to do Boop in America. So then as soon as I'm done with that,
you're pretty busy.
We can do it.
Yeah, you're pretty busy. So Rosie would like to know, what would be your dream show to direct or choreograph?
Ooh,
that you haven't done.
I think this is going to be one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, this story is, like I said, this story is so personal to me because I grew up. I graduated from high school in '78. David is he's leaving secondary modern in '79. So I'm feel very close to these characters and what they're experiencing. So.
Yeah. And what style is the music for this show? I mean, is it?
Oh, that's a good question. Of course, it's got great styles, and Drew and Elliot Davis and Terry Ronald all collaborated on the music together and the lyrics. Yeah. But the style is one part musical theater and one part late 70s pop, because David Starr is a big fan of music. Yeah. And he has posters in his bedroom of Sting, Debbie Harry, and Kate Bush. Okay. And their influences are definitely in the score.
Okay. So have we got some actual songs of theirs?
Oh, yeah. Even a Donna Summer song that, not songs of theirs, but new songs that have been written in their style. Right. Okay. And you'll hear it. You'll go, oh, I know what that's supposed to be. Yeah. Yeah. I know the inspiration was for that.
Sure. Sounds exciting. So Rachel wants to know, you've worked on a few revivals of musicals such as Rocky Horror, Gypsy, Bocage. What's your process in bringing a freshness to a production while still maintaining the essence of the original idea?
That's a real Rachel. That's a great question, Rachel, because I think there's a difference between a revival and a new musical. Okay. A revival has a foundation. Yeah. It's basically the foundation has been laid. Right. So a lot of the work is redecorating or repainting or restyling. A new musical, there's no foundation. Yeah, of course. Yeah. You come into the space with all of your tools, but nobody's poured the cement yet in which to build the house. Yeah. And it's a different sort of craft. And so when I'm working on a revival, if I'm the director choreographer, I can go anywhere I want to go. If I'm the choreographer, I'm collaborating with the director, but really following the director's lead in the style in which they want to tell the story. Yeah. On a new musical, you can do whatever you want, as long as you are telling the truth. I always think the humor and the heart is in the truth. Yeah. Trying to find that.
Yeah. I mean, it's very exciting. And we're here in Birmingham. We are super excited that you've chosen our city to come and premiere this brand new musical at Birmingham REP.
Well, the first time I came here and walked into this
it's beautiful,
thing,
isn't it?
I went, I want to be here. I want to be here.
Yeah.
And I saw your second largest reigning monarch, the statue. Okay. Queen Victoria. Yes. She's second now,
I know.
Because Elizabeth is the first.
Yes, absolutely.
And will always be.
So, Becoming Nancy, a new musical at Birmingham REP between the 2nd of October and the 2nd of November. We're very excited. Thank you so much for your time today. It's been an absolute pleasure for me personally.
My pleasure too.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.